I'm CK. Today we have a module from a company that I can't pronounce this. I will butcher it badly and I don't want to be insulting. So you can see it in the description or on the title card. This is their Strakal Brulu, B-R-U-L-U. It's a fuzz unit, and they found a source for some new old East German germanium transistors, and that's what's doing the fuzz. So we'll see how easy it is to put together and then see how it sounds. And I hope you enjoy the video. Here's the packaging, the bits and pieces, and the front panel and PCB. And you can see the manufacturer's or designer's names right there. Again, I am not capable of pronouncing that. I picked this up from thonk.co.uk, and we've got a URL to the build document. Let's open this up. Oh, okay. Not going to be too complicated a build, because as we can see, it's mostly surface mount pre-installed. There's not a whole lot on here. We've got a cap, diode, a couple of caps, resistors, and two chips that I can't, one here and one here, that I cannot actually read. I do see the part number. I'll look these part numbers up. This one is, I can barely read it. I got to get a better magnifier up. So we'll do that in the interval. It's made in Touellskouarn. Ja, sir, it says with a little exclamation point. Oh, look at this. This is real nice. Thank you. I wish everybody would do this. Test point, -6 volts. So you're telling me what values at least one of the test points should do. That's nice. I wish everybody would document their test points. Here's the front panel. It is in, out, something, probably CV for something or other. The dial for how much fuzz, and then two more things. Let's see what those are. So that's in and out. This is volume, gain, this is the feedback, this is fuzz, and this is CV in. Okay, looks pretty straightforward. It says Strakal Brulu. I tried to translate that using Google Translate, didn't come up with anything. And in brackets it says Touellskouarn. I tried to translate that also and didn't come up with anything. Let's see what's in the bag. What the actual bits we're going to be installing are. We've got, oh yeah, look at these. Oh, big old germanium transistors. Wow, that's pretty neat. I have not seen those in 40 or 50 years. That's pretty cool. That's what's going to give it its distinct fuzzy sound. Rest of the stuff is here. Power cable, of course. A main knob, and it's a good one. Metal insert, brass set screw. Same with the other three knobs. They're all brass inserts and brass set screws. Thank you very much again, guys. 10K, 100K pot, and another, oh, a 500K pot audio taper. Interesting. Then some jacks, which I'll quickly take the panel nuts off so I don't get to putting the panel on and saying, dang it, I forgot to take the panel nuts off. Let's see what else we've got in here. We've got a little trimmer pot. Oh, only 1K. Oh, it's 10K. I'm sorry. That's 1 per. Oh, and this one is a 1 meg linear. And then over here we've got something. 2 leads in, 2 leads out. It could be an old germanium diode, even though, again, when I was a kid, they were much bigger than that, so I could be wrong on that. So that's the bits and pieces. As you can see, there's not a lot to it. These germanium diodes will be fun to hear how they happen. So I'll get the soldering iron heated up, and we'll put this thing together. After a little bit of messing about, I got the information on where the transistors go. The QR code on the bag for the build guide did not resolve to any page on Thonk's site. I went back to the manufacturer's site and I at least found a picture, so I know that the 30B goes, where is it? Where did it go? 30B goes here, and the 402 goes here, and this little guy, which I should have thought about, this is an optocoupler, just older and big one. So again, all the surface mounts are already on here. So what we're going to be doing, there isn't a build guide per se on here, just a picture of the board layout showing where the transistors go. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the optocoupler on, and as you'll see here, it's got a dot, and there's a dot on the circuit board, so that's easy. And this is a surface mount board, so it should, oh, you can also tell because these 2 pins are slightly farther apart than these. These 2 pins are in, these 2 pins are wider. So I'm going to do the short pins in first. Put them in a little bit. Come on, guys, go in and bend it over so I can get a sense for how much space it's going to need. There we go. And now I can bend these leads over, because for an optocoupler you want the LED on the right side, on the correct side, and the photoresistor on the correct side, or else things will not work very well, will they? So that's that. I won't solder that quite yet. We'll put the 2 germanium transistors on. Big old cans. If you took these apart, you'd see an actual piece of germanium hanging there and a couple of leads going in. If you want some fun, go look on YouTube for manufacturing these type of transistors. There's a video from Bell Labs that shows manufacturers hand assembling these type of transistors way back in the early 60s. So we've got a dot here, and the picture says the dot should go down here. So this is the base, this is a collector, and this is the emitter. And that's what the B, E, and C indicate on this circuit board also. And as is typical with these, or all transistors, but these, they stand off a little bit from the board. And now on the 402, the bottom view, the collector is in the center and the emitter and base. This is the emitter on the left, and this is the base on the right. So I'm going to keep my finger on the emitter. What? Well, that's interesting. That doesn't make... Okay, so the emitter goes there. kind of an interesting spread of the leads. The emitter goes there, the collector goes there, and the base goes there. Come on, go in. Let me double check my positioning. Collector, base, and emitter. Yep, I got them right. If we don't have them right, we'll find out when we plug it in. Because I will tell you one thing from my experience in my youth. Germanium, these transistors are not as hardy, I'll just use that word, as transistors now. They're pretty heat sensitive, and they're also mechanically sensitive too. I'm doing one more check here. So the bottom shows that as the collector, and this is the base. I'm just double checking my work, and that's the emitter. Okay, so I will solder all these three fellas to the board using the odds and ends of solder from my last kit, since I don't throw solder away, because as you can imagine, I go through a lot of it on this channel. So I tend to use every last bit, or else my budget for solder would be, well, it'd be more than it already is. Also helps to have burnt my fingers so many times in the last 60 years that I can't actually feel much pain from being heated up too much. Just one of those things. So that is the only real challenge, is making sure you get those transistors correct. Now the rest of it's going to be pretty quick, because all we have left are the jacks and pots and this trimmer and the power header. So put the trimmer on. The trimmer is not ancient, the trimmer is new. Yeah, people often wander around and they find boxes of old parts from old electronics factories, or old radio factories, old television factories, computer factories, what have you, and they'll find these gems of old transistors, sometimes old tubes, and tubes tend to last forever. If you find an old, even a radio from, say, the 30s or 40s, you'll often find that many of the tubes are still good. There's the trimmer. Now we'll put the power header on it, and it is keyed, but the marking on the board is not keyed, so we'll take our power cable and we'll put it in the socket with the keying correct, and then we'll see how it goes. And the red line goes here, so we're going to put that on like that. We can see, because the connector's keyed, we're going to get it right. Now unfortunately, this is the second kit I've had in a row where it has the red line and it says red goes here. Well, but when you put the connector on, if I can get it on there, the connector covers up that marking, which is unfortunate. You should work on, whoever does their board builds for them, should work on their printing. So we'll do one pin here. I'll take it off, and as you can see, it's all cattywampus. So I will heat that pin up again, push on the board, on the connector, it clicks into place. Now I'll solder all those pins in place. And that is that for this side of the board. So now it's simply a matter of putting, ooh, huh, I didn't think about that. I do not, these are not, as we noticed, these are not all the same value pot. So I do not know what value goes where. Let me pause the cameras and go back to their website and see if it tells me or if it's got a schematic. Either one would work. Back in a little bit, but you won't notice because it will be a camera blink. Found another picture on their website of that, this side of the board, and of course it being 2024, I took a picture of it, of my screen with my phone, and I'll work from the picture on my phone. So we're going to do fuzz goes to 1K, feedback is the 1 meg ohm, and the volume is the A taper 500, and the gain is the 100. So we'll just click them in. So that's the only question part. Now we can put the 3 jacks on. Now, again, very quick build. So we'll set the front panel on board. Get everything lined up. Get my little clamp and make sure I'm not clamping anything important. And I'll solder all these connections. Playback in fast motion. And that is that. Everything is soldered on the board that needs to be soldered on the board. I'm going to check this trim pot a little bit. Yeah, I'll just leave it centered for now. Now we will put the panel nuts on, again in fast motion. I do not appear to have 3 nuts for the pots. That's interesting. I just turned my, that noise you heard, I just turned my soldering iron off, soldering station off, because I will occasionally come down in the morning and find that I left the iron on all night and it went into its sleep temperature of about 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, that is that. Let's get the pots all turned counterclockwise, and now we'll put the knobs on and try as much as I am competent to get their index marks going in the same, roughly in the same position. I mean, since nobody's going to be using it but me, it doesn't make much difference. But you do want to make it look a little neat. And the big knob with the big set screw screwed way in there. Knobs are on. Always double check that they rotate freely, because sometimes you will find you have to pull them back up a couple of millimeters to make them go right. And we'll put the Power connector in. And that's it. So there is the front. There's the side. There's the back. There's the other side. And the top. And the bottom. There's no calibration. I mean, this trimmer probably adjusts something or other. I didn't see any information about that, but we'll figure that out when we're playing around with it. So we'll put it in the rack and see how fuzzy it can get. Okay, so let's power it up. It doesn't have any LEDs on it, so you don't know that it's on, but it certainly didn't catch on fire, which is good. And if we look at current draw, currently it's 7 milliamps on the -12. Well, that's the peak. 0 on the +5, 22 on the +12. Let's see what the peak on that was when it started up. Okay, it was start up there. Okay, so let me go ahead and it's on the sequencer, and I've got, let's set these at like the middle just to see what it does. Oh, before we even do that, hold on. I'm going to feed you the dry signal so you can hear what it sounds like. So that's dry. And you can hear it's fuzzed it up. See what we can do. Let me move the fuzz knob. You can hear it getting a little fuzzier. Let me try feedback too. That's a nice sound. So you hear the difference there? I'm going to move the mic a little closer to the speaker. And you can change the volume because you reach a point where it breaks through the fuzz. Back all the way over here. I don't know what this is going to do. I'm going to take it back over here. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to plug an LFO in to the CV. It's a four-headed LFO, so I get confused. and on and on. So that's the way it sounds. It does interesting fuzz stuff, and as you're playing with it or trying to set things up, you'll be wanting to move the fuzz, the feedback, and the, what do they call this? I would call it attenuation, but they call it, my phone doesn't recognize me with my visor down. They simply call that volume. That's volume and that's gain, but playing with the volume to adjust the input volume going into the circuitry gives you good stuff. So it's a fun little unit. I can definitely see it for some atmospheric textures. I can see it for some particular background mood stuff. Let's see if we just, I mean again, if we just don't have a sequence running at all, but I run the fuzz LFO up, well, that's actually not doing what I expected it to do right this second, probably because I screwed up. I did screw up. That's what it sounds like when it's kind of droning. So that's on a steady drone. I can adjust the tone. Let me go way low on this just to see what that sounds like. I don't know if I can even hear it. That's too low. You can barely hear the fuzz because I've got it so, the frequency so low. So and on, and it's a good little unit. Interesting. It's going to be a very specialized kind of effect, of course, but for an atmospheric, I can certainly see this playing in a video, a dark type video, something or other, something interesting. There's a lot going on in there. And the germanium crystals as history, I mean transistors as history, are really kind of fun. So that's it, and that's the Strakal Brulu. I'm going to assume Strakal Brulu, and again, I can't pronounce the company's name. It'll be in the title card, of course, and it'll be in the description, so you can take a look at it. I apologize, but my pronunciation is not so great. But fun unit, really quick to put together, and I hope you enjoyed the video.